Hello guys, so whenever I'm writing my codes, I sometimes feel like, hey, let me just record this part. So what is this I'm writing? What language is this? What framework? What technology? Because that's the most questions people always ask me whenever they see me writing my code. So this is Python. Now how do you recognize Python whenever you see one? Now look at the top, you see that all the files ends with .py. Looking at the code line, you see that the code lines are relatively short, so much indentations, and absence of semicolon. And these three things are probably the signatures of Python. And that makes the whole code looks more like a square. If I'm writing Java or JavaScript, it won't be this square because that's what I always miss about Java. Python will force you to write your code like a reasonable person. It will force you to write your code in a tidy fashion. That's one part of Python that is beautiful, but to be honest, sometimes I hate it. And that's why sometimes I miss Java, because with Java, you can write your code like anyhow you want it. So the framework is Django. In Python, we have flags, but I always choose Django because it's more professional and Django is very powerful. It's so much powerful. And I think Django is the most popular framework in Python when it comes to web development backend. I haven't seen any Flask developer, but I've seen tons of Django developers. But so Django is the most popular, yeah. And mind you, your favorite social media, Instagram, is written with Django. Now just imagine what Instagram can do. Just imagine. Now imagine what you can achieve with Django. Like the limit is limitless. So that's why I will always choose Django. So about the technology, the API technology I'm using here is GraphQL. It's very different from REST APIs because REST API kind of underfetch what you need at a particular time, but GraphQL is like one-stop shopping. It will just get you every information that you need in a particular page just with one request. But REST APIs, before you get everything you need in a particular page, you probably must have sent like tons of requests. Like GraphQL kind of limits the amount of requests you send in a page. It kind of makes your front end faster if you use if you use GraphQL APIs. But with REST API, it's you send tons of requests. If you're writing a very large application, it's best to use GraphQL because you'll be sending a lot of requests from the front end to the back end. But if you're writing a very small sized application like a personal blog or a very simple application, you can use REST API. But GraphQL is like the best. Like I can't see any reason why I should be using REST API for any of my personal applications. GraphQL kind of even if you are writing very small, the tiniest application, GraphQL will still have you covered. But REST APIs, if you are writing very large applications, especially if you are using React, it's best to use GraphQL. That's why I like GraphQL, and I always use GraphQL. If you're a beginner, it's better you start with REST APIs because that's the most common API you can find, and it's better you start with REST APIs because if you're writing GraphQL, you find out that you mostly use GraphQL on your personal projects because a lot of companies, a lot of people, a lot of jobs you will get you mostly be REST APIs, to tell you the fact. But based on powerfulness, GraphQL is more powerful than REST API. You can't compare the two. Large applications like Facebook, they always operate with the best technologies there is. And that's why they came up with this GraphQL API. So, what am I trying to achieve with all these codes that I'm writing? So, I'm trying to write my own search engine for my application. As you can see, I just created a function that will query the database with all these filters that will be sent. So if I go on in details, I might probably bore you all. So let's just skip it at that. And that's pretty much it. And the other video I posted earlier about shorthand in JavaScript, somebody came up with a new shorthand that I haven't seen, and think think it was amazing. That's why I like sharing thoughts on this app. So if you haven't seen the video, go and check it out and check the comments. Like I think I learned something new. So the same thing goes here. From all these I've written, I haven't debugged any of them, but I'm kind of sure that it will work. But if you see anything wrong with any of the codes, just drop them in the comments. And speaking of shorthands, there are also some shorthands in Python, and I think I will share some of them in another video. So from what I've said so far, if you have any question pertaining GraphQL, Django, Python, I'll be happy to answer your questions. Just come up with those questions, and I'll see what I can do. And for the text editor I'm using here is PyCharm. And that's my most favorite text editor when it comes to writing Python. Whenever I'm writing Python, I must use PyCharm. Like, I can't do without PyCharm as long as it involves Python. Reason is because Visual Studio Code kind of give me the vibe of JavaScript whenever I'm writing Python with Visual Studio Code. So, like, I just want a different vibe. So, PyCharm just like make you feel like, yeah, you're writing Python. This is Python. So, that's why I enjoy PyCharm. And PyCharm, just like other JetBrains apps, like has these tons of features. For example, history. Like you can revisit the code you wrote like 3 days ago, and even compare them with the ones you have currently. So like the best part of it is that it will sort the history based on the duration, the time you wrote each and every one of them, like just like Android Studio. And again, just like Android Studio, you don't have to be using Ctrl S to save every single change you've made. Like, it will just automatically save every changes you made as soon as you just finish typing the code. It will just save. Like, very wonderful feature to have here. So guys, I think I've said enough. Yeah, I think I've said all I want to say. Yeah, in this video. So if you enjoyed this video, like and follow for more, and I'll be dropping videos like this in the coming days. So like and follow for more.